Apologize no, na-late ito dako. So let us continue for our reporting. By the way, next week will be our finals. So ako mag-expect na next week na day ang finals. So ang coverage na to will be ang na-discuss lang sukad after sa semifinal nga exam. Face to face na ta next week ha kay finals man. So hopefully kita-kits na ninyo unya kana. Sige, let us proceed to the next reporter. It will be what group is it? So you may take the floor. All right. Once again, reporter, next reporter, please take the virtual floor and you may begin your topic. Hello. Nag nagsugod na ka og discuss reporter murag dili ka
Wala pa, sir.
ah,
Si Rovic akong gipabot, sir.
okay.
Asan na slide ni Rovic?
Wala mo ko nadungog na audio ba ay bigla ko nagsugod na. Sige, sige. Uh, so, so again, so hello everyone, good morning. So again, combining joint probability. From this, if we are going to take the probability of light and no maintenance, we're going to multiply the unconditional probability of the light times the probability of no maintenance given light ray. Then we're just going to repeat that, and then that's all. And then next slide, please. Again, going to get the light, probability of light, no maintenance and delay. So we're just going to multiply the unconditional probability of light times the probability of no maintenance given light train times the probability again of the delayed train given that light train and no maintenance. So next is getting the probability of light, no maintenance, delayed train, and miss appointment. So again, uh, the unconditional probability of light times probability of no maintenance given light rain times the probability of the late train given that light rain and no maintenance, and then times the miss appointment given that the late train. And next, please. Next, we have the inferences. So here we're going to introduce the problem of inference in the probabilistic setting in case where variables might not necessarily be true, but they might be random variables that take on different values with some probability. So next, please. So how do we define the exact what is inference? So, well, the inference problem has a couple parts to it. So we have some query, which is x, variable for which to compute distribution. We also have evidence variables e to observe the variables for an event, and hidden variables y, non-evidence or non-query variable, and goal to calculate the probability of x given e. So So again, we have some query, some variable x that we want to compute the distribution for. Maybe ganahan ta sa probability nga imong na miss ang train or ganahan ka sa probability makuha sa probability nga there is a track of maintenance or something like that. And then we have the evidence variable. So maybe usa ra ka variable ang imong nakuan or multiple pa na. But again, we need to have some evidences. So, for example, kaning naka-observe ko nga na ako na sa train station, and then naka-observe ko nga na ay uwan. Maybe it's hard or it's a heavy rain, light rain, or walay rain. So, ang kanang nga evidence sorry, imong na observe is important kay mao na ang imong gamitin nga evidence.
And using that evidence, ganahan ka makikaibaw sa probability that your train is delayed ba or wala. So, and that is the query that uh, I might want to ask based on these evidences that I have. So, if I have a query, some variable and evidence, which are some other variables that I have observed inside the Bayesian network, and of course, let us leave some hidden variables. So, these variables are not evidences, are not evidence variables, and not a query variable. So, may imagine in the case where kay bauta nga nag-rain ba or wala. Sorry for the. So, you may imagine case nga kay bauta nga na ay rain or wala, and we want to know whether ang aton train is going to be delayed or not. And the hidden variable nga atong wala na kay nahibawan is something like na by maintenance going on nga maka uh, maintenance on the track, or am I going to make it or not sa atong appointment. So that's one of the example of the hidden variable. So next please. So for us to ano, so same po na siya. So ang calculation ani, so we're going to have uh, for example, we have the I want to compute the probability distribution of the appointment random variable, given some evidences that given that I know that there was a light rain and no track maintenance. So there, my evidence. So sorry for that. So again, we're going to compute the probability distribution of a random appointment random variable given some evidence, given that we know that there is a light rain and no track maintenance. So example na na siya. So for this, these two variables that I observed the value of, and I now I observed the value of the rain, and I know na naatay light rain, and there is no maintenance going on sa kanang a day. So let's take an example. So we want to compute the probability distribution of the appointment variable given the evidence that there is light rain and no track maintenance. And we know that there is a light rain and no track maintenance, and we want to figure out what are the probabilities that we can attend the appointment and that we miss the appointment. So the probability of appointment given that light rain and no rain. Uh, and using the joint probability section, we know that we can express the possible values of the appointment random variable as proportion. So we're writing the probability of appointment given light rain and no maintenance as uh, alpha times the probability of the appointment and light rain and no maintenance. So how can we calculate the probability distribution of appointment if its parents is only the train value or train variable and not the rain or maintenance? So here we're going to use the marginalization. So the value of the probability of appointment and light rain and no maintenance is now equal to the probability to alpha times uh, to the probability of appointment, light rain, no maintenance, and delayed, plus the probability of the appointment, light rain, no maintenance, and on time. And so, yeah, that's next, please. Next is this is the inference by enumeration. So this is the process where we are finding the probability distribution of the variable x given and observed evidence e and some hidden variables. So in this formula, x stands for the query variable while e stands for the observed evidence. And so more na siya ang kaning kuan sa tungkol. Next, please.
So, how could we approximate inference inside of a Bayesian network? One method is through a procedure known as sampling. So, what is sampling? In probability theory, sampling refers to the process of selecting a subset of individuals, items, data points, or observations from a larger population to estimate characteristics of the whole group. The central concept in sampling is that the sample should represent the population from which it was drawn, allowing for the inference of properties or behaviors of the entire population based on the sample. In the process of sampling, we're going to take a sample of all the variables inside of a Bayesian network we tackled earlier. And how will we going to sample? So we're going to sample one of the values from each of these nodes of a Bayesian network according to the probability that we can get using a random number generator. And here's the samples we got from the Bayesian network. So by going through these nodes, we can very quickly just do some sampling and get a sample of the possible values that could come up from going through this entire Bayesian network according to those probability distributions. And this becomes powerful is if we do this not once, but we do this thousands or tens of thousands of times and generate a whole bunch of samples, all using this distribution. So we get different samples and maybe some of them are same, but we get a value of each of the possible variables that could come up. And we ever faced with a question like, what is the probability that the rain is on time? We could do an exact inference procedure. This is a powerful tool in AR where we don't need to be right 100% of the time, or we don't need to be exactly right. If we just need to be right with some probability. So here now are those possible samples. We sorted it out and highlight the ones where the train is on time, and we're going to ignore the ones where train is delayed. But there are times that we want to calculate is not an unconditional probability, rather it is a conditional probability. Something like, what is the probability that there is light rain given that the train is on time? So from the set that we made earlier, we can ignore or reject of the two cases where the train was delayed. So we get the remaining cases where the train is on time and highlighting the cases where the train is light rain. I yeah. So here's one such here's the example. I mean the sampling that we made from the conditional probability that the light is there is light rain and the train is on time. So one such sampling method is called likelihood weighting. A form Likelihood weighting is a form of importance sampling where the variables are sampled in the order defined by a belief network, and evidence is used to update the weights. The weights reflect the probability that sample would not be rejected. So in likelihood weighting, certain variables within the network are fixed to their observed values. These are known as evidence variables. The algorithm proceeds to sample the values of the non-evidence or query variables from their conditional distributions given their parent node's values. This process inherently biases the sampling towards observations that are more likely given the evidence. And uncertainty over time. Here we can welcome the Markov model. So Markov model is a stochastic model used to model pseudo-randomly changing systems. It is assumed that future states depend only on the current state, not on the events occurred before it. It is widely used in various fields such as economics, genetics, finance, and many areas of science and engineering for modeling randomly changing systems where it is assumed that future states depend only on the current state and not on the sequence of events that preceded it. And also, we can welcome the Markov assumption. So, what is our Markov assumption? It is the assumption that the current state depends only on a finite fixed number of previous state. It states that the future state of a process depends only on the present state and not on the sequence of events that preceded it. In other words, the process is memoryless, amplifies the modeling of stochastic processes by reducing the dependency to just the current state. While it is a powerful and widely used assumption, it is important to verify its validity for a given application. If the Markov property does not hold, more complex models that account for historical dependencies may be necessary. Hmm. So here's the example of the Markov assumption wherein today we can say that the weather is sunny, and if ever tomorrow will have a sunny, then other days, I mean the following days, we can assume that there will be another sunny day. And if today is raining and tomorrow naman is kaning kuan, mag-init na sad ugma. So there is likely chance that other days will be ano, mag-init. So yeah. Then the Markov change. It is a it is the simplest Markov model that models the state of a system with a random variable that changes through time. This concept relies on the Markov property, which states that future states depend only on the current state and not on the sequence of events that preceded it. So here we can see the example of a Markov change or Markov chain. So the first 2 days will be the sunny days, and the following days will be raining.
So, hidden Markov model. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. So, what is hidden Markov model? So, it is a type of Markov model for a system with hidden states that generate some observed event. This means that sometimes the AI has some measurement of the world but no access to the precise state of the world. In these cases, the state of the world is called the hidden state, and whatever data the AI has access to are observations. So, next slide, please. So, for example is ang hidden state is ang robot nga nag-explore og uncharted territory. So, ang hidden state ana is kung ang robot position kung asa siya dapita, and ang observation niya is coming from the robot sensor data. So, if mag uh so the robot's position can be determined using the observation, which is coming from the robot sensor data. So, using the observation, we can find the hidden state. Balimuon na siya kanang kuan sa hidden Markov model. So another example is ang hidden state. We want to know what the words are being spoken, and we can get that by using the observation nga audio waveforms. Next slide, please. So for this for this discussion, we will be be using the example nga if our AI wants to know the weather outside, but it only has access to an indoor camera that records how many people brought umbrellas with them. So ato here is our sensor model. So sensor model can also be called as emission model. So this describes the likelihood of observing each possible observation given the hidden state of the system. So in this model, ang observation sa AI na to is the whether people brought umbrella to the office to the office or not. So here we can see observation. The green umbrella indicates nga nagdala ang payong ang mga tao, and the red umbrella states nga indicates na wala nagdaog umbrella ang mga tao. So if it is sunny, as we can see here in the state, if it is sunny, it is likely nga only few people brought umbrellas to the building. So if only few people brought umbrellas to the building, makita na sa atong AI, it will infer nga it is sunny outside. And if daghan ang nagdaog og umbrella sa building, our AI will infer nga nag-uwan outside. So by using this observation of whether people brought an umbrella or not, we can predict with reasonable likelihood what the weather outside is. So um so wait. So next slide please. So for simplification process purposes, it is helpful to apply that this sort of assumption just allows us to be able to reason about these possibilities a little more. So using this so sensor Markov assumption. So this is the assumption that the evidence variable depends only their corresponding state. So this wouldn't. So for example, for a model, ang iya radyong basihan is ang observation. It doesn't necessarily reflect the truth. However, kay for example, more conscientious rain-averse people might take an umbrella with them everywhere, even if it's sunny. And if we knew everyone's personality, it would add more data to the model. However, the sensor Markov assumption, this it ignores those data. So mag-assume ra gyud siya sa nga ang hidden state only is affected by the observation. So for simplification purposes, so helpful ni siya nga i-apply ang kani nga sort of assumption para makahibaw tas approximate, and but just by using that assumption we will be able to get a very good answer most of the time. So next slide please. And so what these hidden Markov models end up looking like is a little something like this. So earlier ang sa Markov model niya kay usara ka siya ka layer, right? So in hidden Markov model, it is represented by in a Markov chain with two layers. So the top layer, variable x, stands for the hidden state, and the bottom layer, variable e, stands for evidence, which is the observations that we have. So using this model, we can do simple tasks nga kuan like next slide day please. So these are the multiple tasks that can be achieved using that model, no? So first task is filtering. So meaning given information about from the beginning of time until now, on which on which days did people bring an umbrella or not bring an umbrella, we can calculate the the probability of the current state that today is sunny or raining. So next is prediction. So which is looking towards the future. So, given the observations about people bringing umbrellas from the beginning of when we started counting time until now, can can we figure out the distribution that tomorrow is sunny or is raining? Next is smoothing. So, I know that today people brought umbrellas and tomorrow people brought umbrellas, and so given 2 days worth of data of people bringing umbrellas, so what's the probability that yesterday it was raining? So, and that I know that people brought umbrellas today, that might inform that decision as well. So it might influence those probabilities. And last is the most likely explanation. So this idea is that if I have all these observations, can I calculate the most likely states of sun, rain, and whatnot? And that actually represented the true weather that would produce this observation. So common ni siya sa mga voice recognitions, no? So nakay emissions of audio waveforms, and you would like to calculate based on all the observations that you have what is the most likely sequence of actual words or syllables or sounds that the user actually made when they were speaking to this particular device, or other tasks that might come up in that context as well. So next slide, please. So in conclusion, uncertainty in AI arises from various factors like incomplete data and model limitations. So to tackle it, researchers employ probabilistic probabilistic methods and robust training techniques. So transparency and ethical considerations are also crucial. And despite ongoing efforts, uncertainty remains inherent, emphasizing the need for continuous research and responsible deployment practices to enhance trust and effectiveness in AI applications. So we've seen a couple of ways that AI can begin to deal with uncertainty. So we've taken a look at probability and how we can use probability to describe numerically things that are likely or most or more likely or less likely to happen that than other events or other variables. And using that information, we can begin to construct these standards type of models like Bayesian network and Markov chains and hidden Markov models that and it these models will allow us to be able to describe how particular events relate to other events, or how the values of particular events relate to other variables, not for certain, but with some sort of probability distribution. So all of this then allows our AI to begin to deal with these sort of uncertain problems, so that our AI doesn't need to know things for certain, but it can infer based on the information it does know. So that'll be all for uncertainty in AI.
All right, thank you, reporters. What group is it? Once again, mga group.
Group 3, sir.
Okay, thank you, group three. So let's give a virtual round of applause. So let's have group four for their discussion for this morning. By the way, guys, ang ako ang final requirement for this topic is ako lang i-announce sa later para kuan. Sige, group 4, you may continue the discussion with your topic. Group 4. Hello?
So, good day, guys. So, I'm here to report about hill climbing. So, next slide, please. So, what is hill climbing? So, hill climbing is an optimization algorithm used in artificial intelligence to find the best solution to a problem. It is called hill climbing because it's like trying to climb to the top of the hill where the peak represents the best solution. The algorithm starts from the initial solution and iteratively makes small improvements to it, moving towards the best solution to better solution until it reaches the peak or the point where there are no further improvements can be made. So, ang pasabot ng hill climbing is more like nakay ka ng initial solution niya, mag-continue gyud improve hantod ka nang ma-maximize nimo ang gamit sa kanang usa ka book function ba. Pareho atong gibuhat ni Sir Ralph sa katong code ni Rosemary katong iyaging gipagamyan ang kuan kanang gi-maximize ang paggamit sa mga function ba hantod gamay na like storage nga magamit. So, nana or na siyang hill climbing kanang more imong pangitaan ang best solution ba sa kanang imong current solution nga nakaroon. So, next slide please. So, hill climbing. So, here, hill climbing actually works. So, here natay ka ng initial solution. So, the algorithm starts with the initial solution, and that solution can be randomly generated by the provided user. The next state is selection of the best neighbor. So, among the generated neighbor solutions, the one that improves upon the current solution according to the evaluation function is selected. So if multiple neighbors are improve the solution, one is chosen based on the defined criteria like steepest ascent, first choice, or stochastic on selection. And the next state is update. So the current solution is updated to the selected neighbor, and the process repeats iteratively. This process continues until either the solution is found that satisfies certain criteria or no neighboring solution improves the current upon the current solution and the algorithm converges to the local optimum. So, there makita ninyo ang kuan sa hill climbing. So, there na siya initial state. Then, ara din na siya. Then, mo evaluate siya sa kanang mga line neighbors if either kanang maka-improve ba ang katong neighbor niya or maka-worsen. So, ara gina siya mo pick sa kuan sa kanang maka-improve. So after ma-selected niya ang katong kuan neighbor nga maka-improve niya, mo bali na din na ang current state nga solution mo manang na-update siya. So kana siya kay mo repeat na siya kanang magbalik-balik kini siya hantod kanang maka-reach na ka sa kanang peak or kanang wala na kay lain solution nga mahunahunan ba or kanang ma-stuck ka sa kanang local optima which is kanang kuan siya limitation sa kuan sa kanang hill climbing algorithm. So, next slide please. So there, nakita ninyo. So, mo na siya ang kanang sa hill climbing. Nasa ka ng initial state dra. Yeah, select din siya sa kanang neighbor. Then, update. Sunod po ni kuan na po siya kanang ni evaluate siya sa mga line neighbors niya. Kita siya nga mo improve siya ni update po siya. Ya, ni-repeat na po dyan. To, naabot siya dila sa kanang peak. Then, kanang wala na siya kanang lain solution nga may bawaan ba nga para maka-improve sa kuan sa iyang current solution. So, mo na siya itabo sa hill climbing. So, next slide please. So, hill climbing limitation. So, reaching a flat local maxima or reaching a flat local maximum means the algorithm finds the solution where making any small changes going up or down doesn't improve the solution. It's like being stuck on a plateau. No matter which direction you move, you don't get any higher. So there nakita ninyo ang kanang usa sa limitation sa kanang hill climbing. So simply ma-stuck ka nga kuan sa tunga-tunga nga dili ka mo improve or dili sa ka mo worsen. So mo na siyang kanang usa ka book limitations kanang ma-stuck rate ka ba di ka mo improve og usa ka mo paubos. The next limitation is it may get stuck in a local optima. So this means the algorithm might find a solution that's pretty good, but not the absolute best. And because hill climbing doesn't have a backdrop or explore other areas of the mountain, it misses or it might miss out on finding the global optimum, the highest peak of the entire mountain range. So there nakita ninyo ang usa pod sa limitation kay kanang mag-evaluate siya niya ang katong mapili man niya nga neighbor kay dili siya kanang mo help kanang improve nga ma-reach ang peak ba ma-peak or kanang maabot ra niya ang kanang best solution sa katong area pero dili gid siya kanang absolute best nga kanang solution gid nga ma-maximize ginya tanan ang gamit sa kuan sa mga line function or ma-optimize gid pamayo. So mo na siyang limitations. So next slide please. So hill climbing variant. So ang hill climbing kay na siya line variant. So the first one is steepest ascent. So in steepest ascent hill climbing, you evaluate possible neighboring solutions and then move to the one that brings the greatest improvement, regardless whether it leads to a global maximum or not. This approach is like being on a hill, looking in a direction and find the steepest slope to climb. You always choose the direction that else leads you to the highest, even if it doesn't guarantee reaching the peak. So, kanang katong kwan, kanang steepest ascent kay or like katoran na tong gibuhat katong continuously improve siya. Kanang mo choose siya sa neighbor nga maka-improve niya. Balik-balik din until maka-reach siya sa peak. So, meron siyang steepest ascent. So, next slide please. Next is stochastic hill climbing. So stochastic hill climbing adds an element of randomness to the selection process. So instead of always choosing the best neighboring solution, you randomly select one neighbor even if it's diverse to the current solution. So this randomness helps to explore different areas and search space and avoid getting stuck in a local maxima. So there's a kanang stochastic instead of kanang mupili siya katong maka-improve niya, random yung ang iyang piliyon kay kanang randomize so kanang pwede siyang pili sa kanang worst or kanang kuan. Random sa pili ba dili siya katong taas pa. There nakita ninyo initial state niya dili siya dito sa katong magpa-improve niya pamayo ari siya sa peak kas then mo siya na siya possibility nga reach niya peak so where kanang randomness ra ba mo na siya sa stochastic. Next slide please. Next is first choice hill climbing. So first choice hill climbing addresses the inefficiency of evaluating all neighboring solutions. So instead of examining all neighbors, you generate random neighbors until you find the one that improves upon the current solution. So this approach is like trying to different paths of the hill until you find one that takes you higher rather than meticulously checking on the possible path. So there is a kanang kuan first choice is kanang kuan siya kanang kung unsay una niya makit-an nga improve niya ara siya mo choose dayon din lang siya mag-evaluate. So then kita niya so dira nakita niya ang katong nasa right side kay pa-improve siya so pili din siya dito lahas din. So mo na siya sa first choice if kanang unsay una niya makit-an nga ma-improve mo update din siya dira lahas. Next slide please. Next is random restart. So random restart hill climbing aims to overcome the problem of getting stuck in a local maxima by repeatedly restarting the search from different initial solutions. So after reaching a local maxima, the algorithm starts again from a randomly selected initial solution and continues until stopping the criterion is met. So this strategy is like trying to climb a mountain from different starting points even if you get stuck in one peak. So you try starting from different base to explore other areas. So there is a random start is kanang naka initial solution niya mo kuan katong steepest ascent niya if mas stuck ka sa kanang usa ka bukuan mas stuck ka sa kanang local maxima mo restart tapos diya random may ang dili ka nang i-restart niya kay ang kanang initial solution kay randomize na siya. So mo steepest ascent niya mas ka sa local maxima mo restart na pod ang kanang kuan pagpangita sa kuan sa best solution niya randomize ang pagpili sa initial solution. So ano siya? Next slide please. So local beam search. So local beam search is a parallel version of hill climbing where multiple states or beams are maintained concurrently. So instead of focusing one single state, the algorithm explores multiple states simultaneously, allowing more exploration on the search space. So this approach is like having a multiple hikers searching for the mountain together. So each hiker explores different paths and share information collectively to find the best route and peak. So sa katong other variants kay usaram gid initial solution. So there is a local local beam search is kanang ang iyang initial solution kay duha ka buk magtungan or kanang multiple kanang malapas mo siya two or more man. Then antod then mag steepest ascent then antod makita nila ang best solution. So muna siya sa kanang local beam search. So muna siyang mga variant. So next slide please. So another topic na itong i-discuss is simulated annealing. So simulated annealing is a strategy for finding the best solution to a problem by taking risks and gradually improving. So it starts with a random guess and tries out different options, sometimes even worse ones, especially at the beginning. But as it goes on, it becomes less willing to accept first solution. It's like starting with a big leap and then taking smaller steps as you get closer to the best solution. This method is useful for tricky problems where there might be hidden better solutions, kind of like finding your way through the maze where you can see all the paths. So there is a simulated annealing is kind of more like mo take ka kanang worst solution sa sinugdanan kay mo take ka kanang worst solution na sa kadugayan kay makaabot ka dito sa kanang one best solution or mupili ka sa bati ba early stages antod magkadugay kay adto na ka sa better antod makita ka kanang murag shortcut or dali nga pagpangita sa best solution. So ano siya. So next slide please. So anong here ako simultaneously make sure kani siya. So one siyang mga stage. So starting off, so you can start at a random place where let's call it starting point. So temperature setting. So think of a temperature, willingness to take risks. At first, you're okay with taking big chances. You're willing to try new paths, and then worse on. So there. Next is trying new routes. So you can start walking randomly and trying out different paths to get to the restaurant. Next is checking every time a new path for the worst. If it's better, you stick with it. If it's worse, you might still try it, but it's less likely. Next is the fourth state is after a while you start getting less adventurous and you become less willing to take risky paths. Then sa kalima state is you keep repeating these steps, trying out different paths, gradually becoming less adventurous as you go. And on sa six, because eventually you stop when you tried enough paths when you try to risk your ones anymore. So sabot yun na there nakita ninyo nga kanang andra ni sa kanang kuan worst nga path kay kuan worst nga path kay more siya yung makalid sa kanang pinaka best solution or pinakadali. So mo na siyang pasabot sa simulated annealing nga instead of sa katong best path imong kuan nun mo take kag risk sa kanang worst spot antod makakuan ka makita kag shortcut para maabot ka sa kuan best solution or kanang ma-optimize kay pamayo ang imong kuan program. So next slide please.
All right, let me stop you right there. So it's almost 8:30. So let's have an attendance first before I let you go. Please say present when your last name is called, or virtual hand or chat sa chat box. Let's have Kabag. Once again, Kabag. Canonego. Kapisnon. Thank you. Carbos. Siniza. Thank you. Codino. Thank you. Dagle.
Present, sir.
Thank you. De La Victoria. Thank you. Felices.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Gavato.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Genon.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Hernandez.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Ibarra. Libron. Lucero.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Mahinay.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Mahusay.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Mandreza. Thank you. Nigre.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Niadas.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Omandak.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Omega.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Omictin.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Swan. Thank you. Sumalinog.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Soralta.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Texon.
Present, sir.
Tutu.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Valizado. And Villacampa.
Present, sir.
Alright. Thank you.
Sir, Ibarra, present day, sir.
Nada Ibarra na Ibarra present. Okay. Sige. So, see you guys tomorrow. So, magyapon. So, tomorrow's reporter, we will continue. And for emerging tech, we will have a new discussion. Right. Thank you once again, guys. See you around.
Sir,
Bye-bye. Yes.
katong project nga imong ipahimo, sir, ba? Unsan dito, sir?
Ha?
Katong activity nga imong na ingon kaniha. Unsan dito?
Oo, sa call lang to. Final requirement lang to. Ako lang po sa, sa GC lang na to. Kaya ako
Sige,
sa
sir. Thank you,
i-finalize.
sir.
Sige. Thank you, Sad. Bye-bye. Amping mo kanon na eh.
Ambing sad, sir. Get well, sir.
Thank you, sir.